Okay, so I'm talking about writing new media, chapter 4, and I've just gotten through a little bit of it. Um, but I don't know. I guess I think that I love Marcel Duchamp, and I know a little bit about Joseph Cornell, not as much, but I love the Dadas, and I think they're great. And in fact, I use a lot of Dada techniques in my classes and Surrealist techniques, and a lot of them inspire me to create new kind of techniques. Like I have something called spontaneous research, where students um, they pick articles meaningfully for their research papers, and then they pick a section just randomly, closing their eyes, pointing to a section of the text, and read that section, and then they respond to it, and they can respond with anything they want. My Brown Mackey students had to respond with summaries of the text, and so I have to tell them to write what they think about it, and to write something more expressive, to write something more opinionated. But whereas my students at Scott, they don't have that problem. They tend to be a little more, which is interesting actually, because I think of Scott and Brown Mackey as being largely the same type of students, but actually they're not sometimes. So they have a little bit more experience, the composition students, with expressing their opinion and doing things like that. So I do manifestos. I love the Dadas and Surrealists, but I just can't help but think that this is a lot of this stuff. Well, they're good ideas, and I use some of them. They're also just writers who wish they were artists, And for all the talk that writing is going to go away, there are just as many writing scholars who say, that students write more today than they ever have. You know, I don't know if it was in this class. I think it was, but I don't know. I do so much reading anymore. I don't remember now. But I think it was for this class specifically that, you know, they said, some author, or maybe it was even Rebecca who said this, that, 50 years ago or 100 years ago, the average student wrote like 50 word or 100 word essays, and now they write 250, 500 word essays, and with Twitter and with Facebook and all kinds of stuff, people are doing more writing than ever, and they're doing a lot of writing at work. And so all of this stuff, I feel like it kind of, in a way, it sort of denigrates writing and says, oh, we can't force them to write, and we have to have them do other things. And I feel like these are provinces of other departments. I feel like doing the boxes, for example, is something that belongs to another department, to an art department. Okay, Marcel Duchamp was an artist; he was not a writer. Okay, and so I feel like sometimes, and like I said last week, when we were talking about the Cynthia Selfie article or chapter, and she was talking about having people, do different kinds of texts and visual arguments and things like that. And I just feel like some of this stuff is the province, and should be the province, of art departments. And if we think that students need to have this kind of material, then we should be pushing for art departments to have required courses for all students, as well as English. I don't necessarily think this is the province of English. And I think we're stepping on toes. If people are still going to be disciplinary, as they seem to want to be, I'm fine with interdisciplinary classes, and art and English class, for example, and having a year long art and English class would be fantastic. That would be amazing, you know. But also, students are looking to us, to prepare them for the real world, quote unquote. And so, that includes writing. I'm preparing my presentation, my project around writing classes that I teach, to vocational students. And it's one I'm thinking of doing my class, my syllabus, and my presentation on is for a communications class I'm going to be teaching again this summer. And at Brown Mackey and things, Those are purely vocational students. They're not interested in expressing themselves necessarily. And so I try to get them to express themselves somewhat, but I also have guidelines I have to prepare them for, prepare them for business writing. So the thing about websites, that made sense, and other kinds of writing, but I don't know. I'm kind of, maybe it's because I've been sick and I'm just cranky, and but I really feel like a lot of this is other kinds of stuff, and it's other kinds of, and I've never been an expressionist as a teacher. I've always been kind of practical minded. I like for my students to do some stuff, but even when I give them manifestos, I do it as a warm up to writing a research paper, and that's the logic that I'm able to justify teaching this under, because I have people to answer to. I have people in my department. I mean, my department at Scott, actually, on Friday we had a departmental meeting, and they talked about having exit exams for composition, and for students to be able to show what they knew how to write. I don't agree with this. I don't think they should. And in fact, another teacher who's got, I don't know, tenure at community colleges, it's not the same as it is at universities. But they have a lot more seniority and job security than I do. And she even said, she's been there longer than I have too, and she said, I don't support this. This is not what I'm teaching my students to do, and this is the complete opposite of process approach to teaching. So yeah, but I'm getting pulled in all kinds of directions from people that say we need to give them real world assignments, and I come up with a lot of real world assignments that I'm very, very proud of. My tech writing students, for example, are doing meeting minutes now, and they're doing each class notes as a set of meeting minutes. I'm really happy with this, because this actually gets them to take notes and to take them in a more complete way than they would if they were just taking notes. Plus, it forces them to type them up, and I'm a big believer in typing up your notes as helping you to remember and learn about them. And so I'm torn between this pull towards pragmatism, and then the pull towards something that claims it's pragmatic, but then they're talking about Duchamp and these boxes, and I don't see that as necessarily being pragmatic. So that is my little rant for now. And also, I mean, again, the handwriting things, with crayon and stuff, that's very creative, but I don't know that that's going to help my vocational students. I'm not sure how I can present that as helping them. You know what I mean? Or, again, boxes, or any of, the non-paper. I've been doing that for years, actually. I've been assigning them, for 2 or 3 years now, assigning them what does it mean to not write a paper and how do you get your idea across. But I'm not sure that outside of Comp 1 that I could really do that, outside of Comp 1 or a creative writing class. So same goes with comic books. I think the zine project is an okay one, but again, and I'm really excited to see what my students produce as far as zines go, but is that practical for any other class besides Comp 1 or creative writing? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And so it also fills me with fear as I get ready to do this final project that I'm not going to do something that you like. So I don't know about that either. I'm confident in my ability to produce a good syllabus. And for example, I have my students do a syllabus project every semester where they write and act out and draw out parts of the syllabus so that I don't have to read the syllabus to them. They do this. And I have pictures of the syllabus projects in previous years I'm going to include with my project, with my own project. And I'm going to do some things like that, but I don't know if my project will cut muster. And I guess, I don't know, maybe my brain just hurts from trying to make all these things fit and all of these competing demands as an English teacher. And then the other thing I was going to say is, and I know there's a lot of, there's been a lot of debate about this over the years, and we went through this in one of my pedagogy classes at University of Minnesota, about English departments not being in service to other departments at the university, that writing should be its own thing. But let's face it, it is. I mean, it can be its own thing as well as, but really, again, students are looking to us and other faculty are looking to us to prepare them for writing their papers in other classes. And so I think group projects are good that way. And creative group projects, and I've heard about projects in history and things like that, and I'm not opposed to them, but again, I don't know, this just, I guess, has my hackles up a little bit, the box logic chapter. I love it as a kind of and I'm looking at the Arcades Project right now, which is an amazing book. I've only read just little portions of it, so I'm not opposed to all of this, but some of it I think is, again, examples of writers wishing they were artists, and writers being insecure about themselves as writers and not as artists. And I'm thinking about, I wish I could remember something about rock stars and writers, and writers always wish they were rock stars, and rock stars always wish they were writers, and it's kind of the same thing, it's kind of like that. It's like, writers always wish they were artists. So that's my rant for now, and my insecurities, and my history lesson as I understand it of writing, just in response to having read a few pages of the box logic. So I've been sick over the weekend, and I'm kind of behind on my work, and I'm sure it'll all come together for me, but that's where I'm at right now. All right, bye.